Hey everybody, welcome to the Realist Real Estate Show. I'm Drew Nicoll. I'm here with my partner, Rob Tomasello, and we're here today to talk about how real estate can actually be. You know, very often in this industry and when buying real estate, there's a lot of things that you may or may not believe to be true. So with this podcast and this show, our goal is to really crack open real estate and show you inside and out the real parts of the business. And whether you're thinking or buying or selling, we're going to get way deep into those questions and get real on what's going on with real estate. So how you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, Drew. How are you?
Good. Our first show.
That's right. I'm excited. I'm excited to get this going and, be real with everyone out there.
That's it, because there's a lot of information that people get. And I think one of the big challenges, if I was a buyer or seller, or even maybe an agent, is this information I'm getting what I need to know or what they want me to know?
Right.
And so we're going to unpack that a little bit. But, this podcast was actually inspired by your first podcast experience here. So
that's right.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. And, one of the things, like just a little bit about myself, so you know who I am and what I'm about is, I've been a licensed real estate agent since 2005. So I got into the business right when things started right when we started seeing cracks in the ice, right? Everybody's standing, oh, it's great. Everything's selling for over $1 million. It's awesome. Oh, you can't afford the loan. Well, here you go. Now you can. Woo, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, cracks start happening. Things start shifting. Banks start failing. Loans start coming due, and everything changed overnight. And I actually built my career in real estate right through 2006 all the way into present day, right? And going and seeing the bottom of that market has really, I believe, given me a lot of valuable insight that I can give back to you guys from just living it, man. You know what I mean? The other side of that is I now run a real estate sales team called the Drew Nicoll Real Estate Team with eXp Realty. We're about 10 agents deep now, and what we do is really work towards giving buyers the highest level of service possible and sellers as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell, we're working together as a team to create one of the best 5-star real estate experiences that you can actually get. And we do that not just from being the one-man show, but from being a collective of amazing professionals that are really good at what we do. We're a team. We really are. And so that has also provided a lot of insight in the agent side of the business. What works? What doesn't? If I'm a real estate agent and I'm new, should I join a team? Shouldn't I join a team? Those are great questions. And it really depends on a lot of different factors. So we're going to unpack some of that today. Rob, you want to tell them a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, totally. Again, my name is Rob Tomasello. I got into real estate going on almost 3 years now. When I first started, I joined the Drew Nicoll real estate team here with eXp Realty. Drew has been a mentor to me, a good friend, and now we're just kind of hitting the ground running together and getting stuff done, taking this market head on and providing the highest level of service to both our buyers and sellers, like you said.
Yeah, Rob's one of the top sales agents on our team, and he's also one of the coaches and mentors on the team for new people. He really can provide a lot of insight, both because we both are actively selling and in the streets, so to speak. But Rob's doing a lot of deals, and he's also helping a lot of new agents with their business and building it, growing it, similar to how he has, using some of our proven systems, lead generation techniques, and lead conversion. And we'll talk about some of that today for those of you on the agent side. The first half, though, we're going to get in and talk about if you're thinking about buying or selling, if there's interest, thoughts, what should I do, shouldn't I, or you just want to learn about the real estate market, then this first segment of the show is going to be for you, okay? So one of the questions that I get asked all the time, especially now, is how's the market?
All the time.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me how's the market, I would be retired and living on my super yacht next to somebody else with a super yacht.
That's it.
But it's a good question. Everybody wants to talk about real estate, reason why it's important to everybody. Most people, if they don't already own a home, they want to own a home, right? Or if they own the home, what's it worth? Can they sell it? All of those things. But I think we should just dive in, Rob, now for people who are on the fence in the market, like deciding, should they wait? Should they buy? What do they do? And I know that the biggest issue most buyers and sellers have, but particularly buyers, let's focus on buyers for a minute, is that they get their information from the news. Right. And the problem with that is, yeah, the news will report some economic numbers, but how many homes, right, has the news channel actually sold?
Right.
My point is, if you're going to get your information about real estate from somebody, get it from somebody that you like, know, and trust, that knows about real estate, and not somebody whose job is to sensationalize headlines to trigger fear responses that continue to get you to tune in every single day. Right? We will stay away from the conspiracy stuff, right? I've been known to dive into that every once in a while, but for the reality of the situation is, if we're talking, let's get real here, get your information about real estate from somebody who will be real with you about what's going on. So here's the truth. Is it a good time to buy or sell, right? Well, it's a great time to sell depending on your situation. Obviously, if you're locked into that nice and cozy 2.5-3% interest rate, maybe you don't want to give that up. Is it a good time to buy? Well, rates, Drew, they were 2.5 and now they're up 7.5 to 7.5. Man, they've over tripled and doubled and quadrupled in less than a year, right? So what do I do? Should I buy? Should I wait? And I always ask people this, and I say, you know, because I make my calls, I check in on people. How you doing? Hey, you mentioned you were interested in making a purchase in the next 3 to 6 months. Just checking in to see how it's going. Yeah, well, we've put the home search on hold. I hear that all the time.
Yep.
We're going to wait. Understandable. Maybe that's the right move. But can I just ask, how long are you guys planning on waiting for? And as a reality podcast for real estate, that's my question to you. How long are you going to wait?
Right.
Because if you're waiting for rates to go back down to 2.5%, well, you might be waiting a really long time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality. When is the last time you remember rates being 2.5%? But prior to this last minute, I don't even remember a time, Drew. Exactly my point. But yet real estate is bought and sold and built wealth and provided homes and opportunity and growth for years after years, whether the rate is high or the rate is low. So the real question is, should I buy? It depends. That's the real answer.
Right. Depends on the personal situation. Right.
Depends on your personal situation, what your goals are, right? Why are you buying? You know what I mean? How much is your rent a month? And people don't think about that. Like, if you do the math, right, on your interest rate at right now 7.5 versus 5.5, depending on your purchase price, you're going to look and say, well, it's really only making my payment an extra couple $100 a month, maybe $500 a month, right? Okay, well, what is that what is that house payment now that you would pay at today's current interest rate? What is that versus what you're paying in rent? And let me ask you this. Do you think your rent is going to stay the same or go up over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So what do you think?
It's definitely going up.
For sure.
So it's almost like if you can afford, and this is what I've been telling a lot of buyers, and we've talked about this, but the rent's almost guaranteed to go up over the next, 1, 2, 3 years. So if you can afford the monthly payment, get into a mortgage right now and do that monthly payment, then you can refinance down the line. Now, will that be at 3-4% interest rate? Probably not, but possibly when it goes back down to 5%, refinance then, right? So what I've been telling a lot of buyers is, especially in this market, if the monthly payment makes sense and you can afford it, let's go for it. Let's get you the home that you want. Because another thing is, I was writing offers back when COVID happened, right? Especially here in Sonoma County, and everything, 10, 15, 20 different offers, usually going an all cash buyer for $100,000 over asking, right? So is that really a market you want to be in as a buyer? high pressure situations, not necessarily getting the home you want, right? Definitely a more stressful environment to be in during that time.
Dude, there is so much to unpack in what you just said there. And this is where we want to get real and like think about this, what Rob just said. So one, when's the last time your landlord called you and told you the rent was going down? Right?
Doesn't happen.
Okay, so if your rent in Sonoma County $4,000 a month, right? You do that math. I mean, that's $4,000. You're paying almost $50,000 a year in rent. Okay, so if you're on the fence line for 24 months while you wait for things to change, you just paid $100,000 in rent.
Yep.
You just bought somebody else a significant portion of their house, your landlord, and they're grateful for it. But the reality of it is what if that $100,000 that you paid in rent every month was actually now going back to building wealth for you, building equity in your home? You can pull that back out. And so I'm not saying it does make sense, but I'm also saying that it doesn't, if I said that right. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at your picture. Another important factor to consider, how long are you going to be in the home?
Right. That's huge.
It's huge. If you're looking to buy a home and then resell it for an extra $50,000 to $100,000 in 18 to 36 months, not the move, not the time for that. There was a time for that, and there will be another, right? But if you're thinking, man, I'm going to be in this home longer term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we're in Sonoma County now. What do you think prices are going to do over a 20-year period in Sonoma County?
Right. It's going to keep going up.
It's going up.
Yep.
So that's what people don't understand. As you build equity, right, your debt is going down, so your equity is going up, and prices will fluctuate. They could drop, but over a 20-year curve, it's like this.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so if you're holding this property for longer periods of time, not only are you building equity and dropping, what's owed, the principal amount, but you're also going to be getting the appreciation over time. And that's how you can start to build wealth.
Right.
And that's what so many people really got to understand and dig into. The other part of it is, like you were saying, that I thought was really important to touch on, like, let's get real. When people are scared because of what they see on the news, when there's fear, well, there's just less buyers out there.
Right.
Less buyers mean less competition.
Yep.
Now, look, there are less homes available to buy. Why? Because most sellers, they're not wanting to, unless they have to, right? Divorce, death, bigger family, smaller house, whatever. They don't want to trade in their 3.5% interest rate for a 7.5% interest rate, especially since we haven't seen prices drop.
Right.
And that's the thing. Well, our price is going to go down. Who knows? I think that at some point, yes, the market has to correct. But again, if the market corrects 5% and your average home price is, $800,000, we're talking about $45,000 as a 5%, right? 5 times 8. Yeah, my math's good. All right, so I'm waiting for an $800,000 house to drop, to 745.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if I wait 2 years for that to happen, and we've said, all right, well, by then I'll be gaining at least that much in equity, it starts to become a trade-off.
Right.
So, like, what are you really waiting for? Plus, don't forget, we're locking in your cost of housing.
Yep.
So if it makes sense now, it should make sense in the future.
Yep.
Whereas your rent, that's going to be going up. So those are the types of things I think people don't really think about. To bring it back, though, year over year, so today's October 2nd, 2023. If we looked at October 2nd, 2022, you're going to see that we are down per transaction volume about a third, right? So if we were selling 100 homes last year, now we're selling 66, okay? About to give you that. So the other side of that is that there is, in every market, and this is what I really want you to understand if you're thinking about getting in, buying, or selling, in every market, there's opportunity if you know where to look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the people that you have working with you or for you are really important. as far as their ability to find the opportunities that exist in this market.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, back in COVID and writing offers during that time, I mean, you're almost guaranteed to pay $50,000 to $100,000 over asking, and you're competing against multiple other people, right? Especially in Sonoma County. I just had an offer accepted 2 weeks ago at asking price. Appraisal came back $30,000 over that asking price. I mean, there's a good opportunity right there, right? These people got the home at asking, was only on the market 3 days, and boom, already created $30,000 in equity.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we weren't seeing that happen 12 months ago.
That's right. So if you're a seller, you have to understand that things have gotten really price sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So testing the market, seeing if you can get more money for your home, or thinking that prices are still holding where they were 6 months ago, back even between June and May of this year, it's shifted. Not greatly, but it has.
Yeah.
And what you got to understand is, because people's interest rates have gone up, their affordability factor, which is real estate talk for how much house you can afford, has gone down. So when interest rates were low, people were getting loans to be able to buy $900,000. Now that same guy's only qualifying for $750,000.
Right.
Okay, so things have gotten a lot more price sensitive, and there are less homes on the market. So if your home comes on the market and it is priced accurately, it's still selling fast, and it's still getting multiple offers. But if your home is not priced properly, either you didn't listen to your agent, or your agent didn't know how to price the property right, and that happens all the time. Or even option 3, which is the worst, your agent will tell you your house is worth more than it is, just so that you'll sign the listing agreement. Then when nobody comes through the door, they start beating you up for price reductions. That is the number one way as a seller you leave money on the table.
Yep.
Overpricing your home and then chasing the market down. And we'll unpack that a little bit more in a different podcast. But understanding, though, that those sellers are still out there. They are homes that are sitting on the market for longer than 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
And those types of homes in this market create incredible opportunities. If you're a cash investor, those opportunities are out there. If your agent is smart enough to go out and talk to people whose homes have been on the market for longer and create situations where you can start to negotiate the price, or at least negotiate on the home without somebody competing to drive up that price, it's incredibly valuable opportunity for a buyer.
Yeah, totally.
And I just don't think a lot of agents are thinking that way. Unfortunately, I think a lot of real estate agents take the role of order taker, right? So they'll show up like they work at Chick-fil-A fast food, and they go, "What do you want? 3-bedroom, 2-bath? What do you want to pay? Okay, got that, right? When do you want to be there? Okay, now I'm going to send you everything on the MLS."
Right.
Only problem is you already have access to what's on the MLS.
Right. Really brings no value to the client.
The industry norm and standard in real estate for most agents is for them to email you properties you already have access to online. And like you said, no value in that. So in this market, the agent that you pick, can they find you properties to buy that aren't available online, that you can't find yourself on Zillow, that other agents don't know about? Because that's going to provide you the opportunity to at least discuss and negotiate a price without competition driving it up.
And that's huge.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you can understand whether you're a seller or a buyer, okay? Because I represent a lot of sellers. I do buyers as well. Most of my buyer business now is by referral. Okay, if I know you, repeat customer, those types of things. If you are, referred to me by one of my valued clients. On the listing side, it's very often the same thing, where if you have one offer on a home, or if you're the only person writing an offer, you have the opportunity then to leverage getting your price and your terms. Mm-hmm. If you have a house to sell, what does that seller really want? Buyers.
Right.
The more buyers a seller has for his home, the more leverage he has. It's very simple, right? This isn't rocket science, but I don't think people think through this logically. Okay, what does a buyer want? Homes, right? The more homes an agent can provide to a buyer, the more valuable. So if I'm a seller and I want homes, if an agent or I have one buyer who wants to buy my home, then typically as an agent, I'm going to be able to negotiate for you either your price or your terms.
Right.
But it's hard for me to get both.
Right.
Now, if I'm a listing agent, I'm generating a multiple offer situation, or if you're a buyer competing in a multiple offer situation, now the seller has the leverage to kind of get both their price and their terms.
Yep.
So, you can play both games, but that's what you're getting into. And you want to talk to an agent who can really tell you how to win.
Right.
Isn't that what we're getting hired to do?
That's it. Yep.
I tell them, listen, homes sell themselves. I'm a licensed real estate agent. It says it right on there, but I don't sell houses. Why? Houses sell themselves. What we do, right, Rob, is we are home buying and selling consultants.
Right.
I'm here to help consult you on getting what you want, when you want it, and how you want it without making a lot of big mistakes and without it becoming something that makes all your hair go white.
Right.
That's what a good agent does.
Yep.
They put that work and that stress of buying a home on their shoulders, takes it off of yours so that you can enjoy the process of going out and picking your new home.
Right, because it should, ultimately there's going to be stress and anxiety whenever you're buying a home, especially if it's a first-time home. But, it should be a fun process, right? You should enjoy going out and enjoying looking at homes and whatnot. So, yeah, a good agent should take that stress off their client, put it on themselves, and get the job done, right?
Sure, and that's not to say there's not nerve-wracking parts, like will the offer go through?
Right.
Will it not go through, right? Sometimes you're scared it will, scared it won't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then the offer does go through, and then you got a whole nother list of tasks to get done before escrow closes, right? So it's on to the next thing.
Right. But at the end of the day, nobody likes to lose.
Yeah.
At least nobody that I hang out with.
Yeah.
So, you want an agent who can help you win. And listen, in order for that to be the case, your agent has to know what they're talking about, how to win, and you have to listen to them.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest challenges we face as real estate agents is making sure that our clients know and trust us, right?
Right.
And will listen to our advice. And listen, you don't have to do exactly what we say, but know that the advice is coming in a way that's positioning you to win.
Yep.
If you want it, listen and, or at least do your best to take our advice on what it's going to take to win. Or it just could be that for you to win, you're not willing to go there.
Right.
And that's cool.
Right.
But that's what we got to get to. Instead of pretending that you have a chance to get this offer accepted when we all know it doesn't have a snowball chance in hell of winning. Right. And your agent should have told you that writing that offer is more of a practice for him than any reality in your offer getting accepted.
Right. Exactly. And it's our job to be real, right? To be real with these clients on what it's going to take to win and advise them and not completely pressure them or whatnot, but kind of push them towards that and remind them of why they want to move in the first place, right? I mean, you're talking to Jim and you're telling me he needs to go up 10 grand and he's giving you some pushback. Well, maybe reminding him that, hey, Jim, if you don't make this move, you're going to keep commuting 2 hours to work and 2 hours back every day, missing your son's baseball games, your daughter's soccer games, and, putting that in perspective for him, right?
Yeah.
And we can get into that a little bit more, but that goes back to finding the client's pain and the main reason why they do want to move. But, in the end, our main job is to be real and advise these clients. And in the end, they can make their own decision. But if we don't at least let them know what it takes to win, then we're not doing our job the right way.
And that's it. And you make the decision of whether you want to, jump in the seat and take that ride. But at the end of the day, we're going to do our best to say, hey, this is what it's going to take to win. I feel that's a lot more valuable than me setting you up for failure or letting a client keep taking L's. Once you write one offer and it doesn't get accepted, that hurts.
Yeah.
You know what hurts than not getting one offer accepted? Not getting two offers accepted and three. And so you got to ask yourself, if you're one of these people who's out writing multiple offers and they're not getting accepted, why?
Right.
Either one, you're not able to be competitive. Two, you're not being competitive. You're being unrealistic. You have to understand that if this is what you want, this is what it's going to take. Or five, right, whatever number I'm on, are you listening to your agent, and is your agent coaching you on how to be successful? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with the agent, okay? And what I mean by that, if you're a buyer out there, if you have an agent who writes up the offer and emails it to me without ever calling me to ask me if I have offers, to ask me why the seller's selling, there's a whole list of questions that your agent should be calling the listing agent and asking to even know how to write a valuable offer. How can I write a valuable offer? When I say valuable, a lot of people think I'm talking about price, but there are ways to write an offer that are incredibly valuable to a seller besides just money.
Right. But you won't know unless you make that call and ask the seller's agent.
That's right.
That's the problem.
Do they want a long escrow or a short escrow? Right? A lot of agents think, well, if I write it short, that's what everybody wants. Unless they lived in the house for 50 years and they're freaking out about having to pack up and move.
Right.
And you give them a 15-day escrow and they're like, how in the world, in God's creation, would I ever get out of here in 15 days? Nope. Even if it's $200,000 over their asking. Right? So you got to get in there and dig in, and then you got to fight for it once it's submitted. Right? So, hey, I'm sending you in an offer. Do you still have any more now? Right? When will you present the offer?
Yep.
So we're always touching base with the other agent because we're not competing, we're working together to help the buyer get what they want and the seller get what they want. One wants a house, one wants a buyer. I got buyers, you got a house. Right? Simple. Right. But people don't think about that. And it blows my mind how many agents email me offers on my listings without A, calling me to ask me any of the aforementioned questions, or B, even tell me that the offer's there.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to me to think about. It happens
all the time.
Yeah.
And then they call me 3 days later to ask me what the results were. Like, that's just like Jesus take the wheel. Like, let me close my eyes, pound a beer, and then
hope for the best.
And hope we don't crash. Yeah, it's nuts.
I'm not about just hoping, right?
It's a terrible business strategy, as we always say, right? Yeah. It's just like, and it's even worse if that's what your client, I hope we get it. Yeah. What do you mean you hope we get it? Are we going to get it or aren't we? Well, look, there's no guarantees, but have we done everything in our power with what we have to work with in your financial situation to make it happen?
Right.
The answer is simple, yes or no.
Right.
The answer is yes, then there's, you're not going to get them all, but you can absolutely increase your percentage of getting your offer accepted by taking some of these.
Right. But if you're not able to sit down with your clients and advise them and maybe put things in perspective, like, hey, listen, whatever, I just talked to the mortgage broker, if we did go up 10 grand and you decided you could do that, it's only going to come out to about, $30 to $40 more a month.
Yeah.
I really think that's worth it for you to get this home. Saw your reaction when you guys were in it, how much you loved it. I think paying that extra $40 a month is totally worth it for you guys. You're right, Rob. I didn't know it was only that much more a month. Yeah, let's go for it. Get this home for us, right? So sometimes education, right? Educating them on really all the facts before they even realize, sometimes going up 10 grand for someone can seem like, oh, that's a bunch of money. Well, in the scheme of things, $40 more a month to get your dream home, right? Like, let's pull the trigger here.
Yeah.
Right. Let's stop messing around and get this deal done.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's make it happen.
That's it. And it's always going to be worth it when they get the keys, right? And that $40 extra a month, that's no big deal.
Yeah, that's it. And so, if you want a really great list of questions that your real estate agent should be asking the seller on your behalf, or if you want to know a list of really great questions that we have that you should be asking a real estate agent before you actually hire them, then just send me a quick email to drew@nickelteam.com and just say which report you want. If you want the information on list of questions to ask your buyer, just drop that in the subject line, list of questions to ask your agent. Or if you want the list of questions that the agent should be asking the seller, just drop that in the subject line. Email me, drew@nickelteam.com, and we'll get that out to you right away, right? Just get you guys some information. We have a lot of resources. But I think what I want to do now is just take a quick break. And then when we come back from the break, let's jump into the B side of this, which is really like the agent side. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking to start a career in the business, or if you're in the business and your business isn't quite where you want it to be, but you know you have what it takes, then stay tuned, because this next part is going to be huge for you. Rob and I are going to lift up the jackets here and give you a little bit of a peek behind the window on how we're able to create massive amounts of leads, lead flow, conversion, and commissions for ourselves, our team, and our family. Stay tuned.